All right, we are back again. John, Tucker,
Hi.
the awesome people. Okay, this time what we're going to do is we're going to share with you our top 5 favorite television shows of all time. Okay, again, this is a list that can rearrange and move up and down, but like we said before, it's our opinion, and our opinion is correct.
Mm-hmm. Mine more than his.
No.
Yeah.
Okay. Starting off at the bottom, number 5. What is your number 5 television show?
The Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. It's my favorite, I think, because it's the one that most closely correlates with the MCU movies. The other ones, they don't do that as much, so you don't... It's hard to keep track of where it is, for me, where it's at in correlation to the movies, but Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., every so often you see, like, in the background something about one of the Avengers did something, and it's something that happened in the movie, or they go and fight a bad guy that was related to something that happened in another movie. So it's just easier to follow along. So it's fun.
It's good number 5.
Yeah. What about you?
My number 5, I'm going with the old Twilight Zone series back from the 60s.
He's old.
I wasn't born yet.
That's how old he is.
So, the Twilight Zones from the 60s are fantastic. You know, they tried to cover some political things, but not too much. Social issues, but not too much. They just told really great stories.
Some messed up stories.
Messed up stories, absolutely. My all-time favorite is probably The Dummy. Look it up, watch it in the dark. When I was a kid, it scared me. It's not too scary now. But one cool thing about that is on my website from before, I had reviewed every single episode of Twilight Zone. Every single episode. And gave it a 1 to 5 star rating on the episodes. Well, there was one episode that I did, is the one where the people wake up and they're in this town, and there's nobody in the town, and suddenly there's a little girl laughing. They keep a little girl laughing, and the little girl turns out is like this big being that got her little play action figures, which were 2 people from Earth, and it was awesome. It was awesome. But I did a review on that, and I liked it. I think I gave it 4 stars, I think. But I got an email from the girl who played that role and said, "Thanks for reviewing my show." It's pretty cool.
Did not know that.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
Pretty dang cool. Okay, number 4.
Mine is Numbers, and the E is a 3. It's about a FBI agent and his mathematician brother, and in the beginning the brothers don't really get along. One's, the physical, outgoing, all-star athlete who went on and got a really good career, and the other one is the nerd who lives with his dad and works at a university as a math teacher. And they end up working together on the cases because he uses his algorithms and stuff to solve the crimes. I'm terrible at math. Usually have been, always will be. But he gives interesting analogies and ways of putting it that for that situation, for that scenario that they're trying to solve the crime, for that briefest moment, I can understand what they're talking about, and then they move on and they're shooting the bad guys, and then I forget all about the math. But for that brief second, it makes sense. But other than that, But it's good.
Yeah, so is he ever wrong? I have not watched that show.
He has been wrong, but then he figures it out because he's just very quick and smart.
But then he fixes it.
Yeah, he fixes it.
Yeah, okay.
It's cool. It's got some, not like ultra famous, but some famous-ish stars. At least back then they were. I don't know if any ever did or whatever.
Cool.
Yeah.
It's cool. I like it.
Edit me out of that.
My wife is home. We're talking about our favorite television shows of all time. Do you have one you want to throw in there? What's your favorite television show of all time? We'll just do one for her.
Star Trek, TNG.
Your hair looks good.
Thank you.
Star Trek TNG, she says.
Whoa.
Now you see why I married her.
Show me kids
Oh,
are
yeah. Okay, so where are we at?
Number 4. So.
Number 4. I'm going to go with number 4 is Futurama. I absolutely love Futurama. If you've seen my other videos, my MS videos, talk about how I go to sleep to Futurama, and I have for years now. About 6 years, I think now, I have watched Futurama pretty much every night to get me to sleep. And there's a reason I do that. And if you want to watch my other videos, then, go research it. But there is a reason that I watch videos at night, and I had to have the volume up a little bit. But I love Futurama. I love the witty humor. It's made by the same guy that did The Simpsons.
Matt Groening.
And he is obviously a brilliant man. I don't know if he really is, but he's funnier than heck. The stuff that he does is just hilarious. And so Futurama, if you haven't seen it, it's worth watching. It's awesome. Okay.
Next up.
What's next on the agenda?
Alright, my next is Star Wars The Clone Wars. And it's, people were hating on the prequels, and then the sequel trilogy came out, and now we're hating on that. I have always liked the prequel trilogy. I think just because it had more of the intense lightsaber stuff and the fight scenes, because in the original one, where Obi-Wan and Vader are like going, with the sabers, I don't know, it was like a sad little old man fencing fight. Sorry, I don't know.
You wanted the Yoda.
Yeah, Yoda and Dooku, like, that was so cool for, like, I don't even know how old I was, but that was just cool. Because Yoda, like, and then he's like, yeah, okay, yeah. So that was just cool. So then...
And this is the television series now. That's
Yeah.
animated, right?
Yes. But it's those same characters and that story, and it's just expanded upon. And there's so much they do. Characters that were just there for a second in the movies get, like, entire episodes or even seasons about them, and it makes them a lot more noteworthy when you watch the movie. It's like, oh, so that's why they did that, that's why they do this. It fills in holes that didn't need to be, but it makes it more fun to watch the movies later.
Cool. Okay. My number 3, Lost.
Whoa! No surprise there.
Lost. Imagine that. If you've never watched Lost, take my advice, watch it. But you have to watch every episode, every season in order, and you have to pay attention to it.
Very close.
It is extremely deep and complicated, and people that just casually watch it have no idea what's going on in the story. And they try to jump in at a later episode, and you can't do that. You have to watch it from season 1, every episode, pay attention. If you're watching it with somebody that likes to talk, gag them. Duct tape works really well. Okay? Just duct tape their mouth. I mean, wouldn't you agree?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, it's a fantastic story, fantastic show. I highly recommend it.
You would.
Your number 2,
Star Trek Next Generation.
Star Trek Next Generation.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, with Data?
Yeah. I don't know, I mean,
Data.
I think I saw Star Wars first, and it was cool, but it was, it was a long time ago, galaxy far, far away. Star Trek is the future, it's where we're going, and it just always seemed interesting, how many problems were solved. Like, they got rid of so many issues that we deal with nowadays, like politics they just combined everything, and it was the Galactic Federation?
The United Federation of Planets.
There you go. I can't speak. They got rid of currency. I believe it's in Insurrection, which isn't the show, it's one of the movies. But they meet someone who's like, how much did the ship cost? And he's like, we don't have currency in the future, so they just built it. They've got the food replicators, so you can make whatever you want to eat, but it'll be healthy. Like, who is it? I think it's Riker. He wants a donut or something, and it's like, I can't remember what they compared to, but it's like eating a salad.
Well, Deanna Troy always goes with the chocolate ice cream.
Yeah, so it's whatever you want, tastes the same, but it's healthy. Like, I can't even imagine. Like, I want pancakes, and it's like, healthy for you. But then, you get like Picard and Riker, and they could be smart and stubborn and, working out the problems, and then there's just episodes where they're like being a bunch of dorks and being funny, and it has some odd moments. Like, you get Tasha Yar. She's an interesting character, but...
Fortunately, they killed her in season 1.
Yeah! But, like, favorite character, I think, is Worf, because he's just It's like Chewbacca, but he actually talks. So,
Yeah, he's
cool.
a bad man.
What's your number 2?
My number 2. Well, real quick on yours. I was gonna say something really cool, and I had thought, and then it disappeared.
Okay.
So just pretend that I said something really cool and thoughtful. Okay. My number 2, I'll remember when
When you're talking about it, yeah.
My number 2 is Third Rock from the Sun. John Lithgow is incredible. He is amazing. And the way that they put that show together, they put from, the high commander to the second in command, and then, the show was perfect. And it was so hilarious. The timing in that show was the best I have ever seen of any comedy in a show. And to be able to continue that for 5 seasons, there were 6 seasons, but to continue that for 5 seasons was a miracle in itself. And the first 5 seasons were absolutely amazing. And then the 6th season, which they realized when they got there, Tommy grew up. I mean, he's an amazing actor, and I love the guy. But the problem is you took out one of the key elements of that party, which was the kid. He wasn't a kid anymore. You took out that element, and it ruined the show, the growing up of Tommy, and it was very sad. But the first 5 seasons are so good. There is so much comedic genius in that. I cannot say enough of how awesome that show is. The comedic timing, just the writers did such a great job. Fantastic. And then in the 6th season, they just kind of, and then they said, yeah, we got to quit. So 6th season is where it ended. So now we're off to number 1. What is your number 1 show?
My number 1 is Teen Titans, not Teen Titans Go. That is a abomination of the new and improved TV shows that they have nowadays. Don't even get me started there. The old one was where comics and superheroes started for me. So I started out DC fan, and then what happened to DC happened, so now I'm a Marvel fan. But it was interesting seeing, you hear about Batman, but you don't hear too much about Robin. And so then you have all this about Robin, and then you hear about, what's the other one? I don't know. But it's seeing these heroes who kind of lived in the shadow of their mentors, of a sibling who was the ultra powerful superhero, and then they have to come into their own on their own. Well, they're with the other outcasts and such, but seeing them figure out how to fight big bads like Deathstroke, who, in most games and movies, he's pretty even match for Batman, but the Titans go up against him a few times, and they get beat pretty bad, but they do pretty well. So it was interesting seeing that dynamic of, a bunch of misfits trying to meet the expectations of the regular heroes and coming close but not quite, and then the jokes about pizza and all that were always fun to see. Just pizza. Although I'm just a cheese or sometimes pepperoni guy, this guy, he puts all sorts of nonsense.
Yeah, well, as far as the Batman thing goes, Bat Thumb was the best version of Batman, and Blue Jay. Come on, it was...
That's another Steve Odekirk
yeah.
special.
See the Thumb movies, they're amazing. Okay, my number 1. My number 1 is Star Trek, Next Generation. They had I loved all the Star Treks except for...
Motion picture?
No. It's one with Janeway.
Oh, this happens a lot, sorry.
This is how I just don't care about that one, because it was so dumb. So...
The movie had one.
Anyway.
Yeah.
So, but all the other Star Treks were really good. I loved Next Generation the best. Deep Space Nine had the longest running storyline and was absolutely fantastic. And the individual characters I really liked in Deep Space Nine, but Next Generation just had the best characters. Captain Picard was the best captain ever in any Star Trek. Riker was okay. not great.
Yeah.
But Worf was amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Data was awesome. I loved Data. I just love the cast they have. You know, Deanna Troi was really good after season 1. She was an overactor in the first season, but after that, she did fantastic.
What about Will Wheaton?
Wesley Crusher, why they didn't put him into that tar pit
With Tasha Yar?
with Tasha Yar, they should have just put him in there as well. He got so tedious. You know, everybody would say, and what's the line?
Shut up, Wesley!
Shut up, Wesley. Everybody would say, shut up, Wesley, over and over and over, but then he would come and save the day. Then the next episode with him, they'd say, shut up, Wesley, and then he'd save the day. And the next episode, they would say, and you see the recurring pattern there. Wasn't enough to ruin the show, because this is my favorite show, television show of all time. But yeah, they could have done without a couple of characters there.
Yeah, I should have gone back to it and tossed him in.
Yeah, but that is the best show. Oh, and I remembered what I was going to say.
What?
So when he was talking about the replicators, if you watch Star Trek Enterprise, Commander Tucker actually explains the replicator and how it works. And he says, so all our waste goes into the replicator and is remolecularized, whatever you call it, into the stuff. Then he started thinking about it. He's like, sounds really bad when you think about that.
And that's why you don't think about it. Just think healthy donuts.
Yeah, because it breaks down the molecular structure of all the junk that they send.
So you're not eating the junk. It's been redone, but
you
it is.
pretty much are.
Don't think about it. But yeah.
Anyway, if you disagree with us, you're wrong, but go ahead and put your comments at the bottom. Let us know what you think. And we'll see you next time. Who knows what we're going to do. Goodbye.
Bye.